Many people don't talk about their hallucinations, and it can be a great relief to discover that others have similar experiences. And in general, meeting and talking to other people with macular disease can be invaluable. The Macular Society has support groups around the country. Joining a group can be a therapy in itself.
It's very important. You realise you're not the only one out there, that there's a lot of us all with the same.
And I think all the information you get from Sideview and the Digest is really useful, you know.
I knew somebody from Age Concern. I phoned him up and asked him if I could come there. Yeah, by all means. And I've liked it ever since.
We live in the same village, and I'd known her for years and never knew she had macular. So since then, it's been nice, hasn't it, to come together?
At first, I thought, do I really want to be with other people that have got the same condition? I didn't really want to. But now, 10 years down the line, I'm so glad we made that effort.
Well, the group's run by themselves, and we set them up initially, and then it's volunteers. And a lot of visually impaired people are involved with running the group, but we also have maybe their partners, family, friends, whoever would like to get involved. And the more people who get involved, the easier it is for everybody. And so no, it's amazing. Within 2 or 3 months, people are coming in to help within the group.
I have had it since my late 20s, and I didn't know what it was. And I didn't know for years and years and years what it was. I must have been in my 50s before somebody told me, because I'd never heard of macular disease.
Friends and families have to come to terms with MD too.
We work together. I read things out to Mavis automatically, because I know she can't see it. Notices, if we're walking somewhere, there's a notice. I know she can't see it, I read it to her. Don't have to think about that. But a lot of our members are much worse than Mavis is. And quite a lot of them are on their own. Very difficult for them. Very difficult for them.
People who are visually impaired are often isolated at home and don't get out very much. So coming to the group does get them out the house as well.
It's not easy when they're first diagnosed because there's not a lot of help out there at the hospital. There's no visual aid or anything like that at our hospital. They have to go to the local optician for things like that. It is getting better. It is getting, and social services have been very good and sending them to us. I mean, we've gone from 8 people to now 60 in the 10 years that we've been going. This is our 10th anniversary.
Peer support is so important. I even know from my own experience, I learned a lot from talking to someone else who was visually impaired that nobody else could answer the questions.
Local Macular Society groups can support families and friends too. In fact, anyone can join our groups. We have some groups specifically for younger people with macular disease run by our WAM or Working at Macular section. Dealing with a diagnosis of macular disease as a young person can be very hard.
I just didn't have a clue what I was going to do. Work-wise, family-wise, hobby-wise, everything-wise just seemed to stop on that day. Stumbled across a lady with a guide dog and she asked me what I'd got and I mentioned the word macular by chance. And she says, oh, there's a group that meets the last Thursday in the month. I just couldn't believe that there were other people there in a similar situation to myself. And they were telling me the horror stories of when they were diagnosed quite a few years before me. And they were also telling me all the little tips and everything else on how to get on with your life and concentrate on the positive things rather than the negative things, and just little tips really. And I came out of there clicking my heels, thinking, I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to try and find other younger people and help set support groups up for young people. You know, we met up with this motley crew and everybody sort of gets on with it, and we meet up 3 or 4 times a year, and you know, it's good. You can still go out and do things. That's the main point I want to try and get across.
when you first get diagnosed, you feel really isolated and you think, oh my God, I'm like 14 years old, I've got the eyesight of a 60-year-old, what am I going to do? And you get really lost and you've got no one to talk to. But once I got in touch with Danny and Wham, which I saw on the last DVD, it's been much more positive, and I've helped other people who are a bit younger than me and given them guidelines on how they can deal with it.
It's really good to actually meet other people who are getting on with life and actually just have some support about how to access the medical side of things with greater ease and what to ask for, what's okay to ask for, and so it's just helpful to have other people.
Details of all local groups are available from the helpline. The Society also produces a wide range of publications for members and non-members. Actually joining the Society costs very little and brings extra benefits, including a quarterly magazine. It also helps others and supports the Society's work to find cures and improve the care of people with macular disease. The Society relies upon the generosity of members and supporters to fund all of this work.
Fundraising is crucial for us because we don't receive any money from the government, so we rely entirely on donations from members and from other members of the public. We rely on people doing events for us, like runs and coffee mornings. We have a wide range of events that people do for us, and without this fundraising we wouldn't be able to deliver the services that we do, and there would be a lot of people who wouldn't know where to turn to get help for their problems with macular disease.
Events like the British 10K raise thousands of pounds for the Society.
We know what a wonderful job the Society does, and I've got a relation that's got it, and it's been brilliant for him. He's in his 90s and he's still living on his own and doing everything, so that's why I'm doing it, to raise some money, and I've dragged these two along as well.
My aunt has macular degeneration, and I thought it'd be a good thing to raise awareness and raise some money.
I'm an eye doctor and I deal with patients with macular disease all the time, so I thought I'd run and put something back.
Some of the money raised by the Society and its members helps fund research into macular degeneration, such as this pioneering work developing stem cell therapy. It's hoped it will enable doctors to replace the eye cells which degenerate and die in macular degeneration.
The whole project has moved towards turning human embryonic stem cells into the very cell that dies in that disease at the back of the eye. And that cell has a rather long name. It's called retinal pigment epithelial cell. But it's a middle layer of cells right at the back of the eye which support the seeing part of the retina. So what we've managed to do over a number of years is to use the knowledge we have in terms of how those cells normally are born and developed, use that knowledge to turn the stem cell, into that RPE cell. We've managed to produce it in sufficient numbers, and we've been able to do a lot of work to ensure that it is the cell that we want. It will do what we want it to do, which is to support the seeing part of the eye.
If the research is successful, it will be among the very first practical uses of stem cell therapy, and the project now has major commercial backing. But in the early stages of the work, money donated by members of the Society was vital.
The Macular Society, at a critical period in the evolution of this whole endeavour, gave what I think is probably one of the largest donations any charity has given to a research project of this kind, from the size and from its own membership, which was without doubt immensely helpful and kept the show on the road, so to speak.
We all hope that one day there'll be a cure for macular disease. But of course, if you have macular disease now, you need ways of coping now.
Think positive. You will not go blind with macular disease. You will still have your peripheral vision. So if you remember that, there's a lot of things that you can do.
If you don't understand something, you must go and try to find out what it is. Once you know what the symptoms are, what the details are, that is highly therapeutic. If in doubt, find out. Ring the Macular Society.
People are so kind. The people that are most unlikely, they'll make sure you get on the bus. They'll take you across the road. And my intention is to get as many people out there leading a normal life, a good life, as possible.
And I think acceptance of your condition, instead of beating your head against a brick wall and saying that you're going to do everything exactly the same way that you used to do it before you were diagnosed with this condition, that's equally as damaging. I think you have to accept that it is a life-changing condition, but it isn't a life-ending condition.
Each person has a different need, but you have to, with the help of professionals, explore what's best for you.
Grandad told me when I was very little, there's a mountain in Africa, he's been there in the army, with snow on the top. I didn't believe him until I was in my 20s and researched it. This happened to my eyesight and I wanted to climb that. I would have probably just dreamt about it and remembered his story, but because this happened, I wanted to get on top of that mountain, and I made sure I did.
I'm pleased to say that having macular disease hasn't stopped me from doing many of the things that I enjoy, such as Last of the Summer Wine, my one-man shows, and being Wallace. What, no cheese, Gromit? It's not always been an easy journey, but it hasn't been the end of the road. Good luck on your journey.